We got to sit down with Mickey Factz. Well, we didn't actually sit down with him. We got to call him on Skype, ask him a bunch of questions, and it turned out to be one of the best interviews on this channel. He actually admitted later at the very end of the video that he shared a lot of things that he's never talked about in previous interviews that he's had.
I'm humbled to be a part of this conversation with two guys who really just, appreciate the culture. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to my fan base when they hear this interview, because a lot of things I've said here, I've never said anywhere else. So I'm hoping that, a lot of people will tune in and check you guys out from here on forth,
My name's Cole. This is my channel, Cole Zarick Music, and I do interviews with my friend TJ. So if you're here because you're a Mickey Factz fan, welcome. And I want you to do me a favor real quick. Hit subscribe. Check out the videos that are coming out in the future for this channel. You can unsubscribe whenever you want, but just hit subscribe and give this channel a shot. We do all hip-hop content, and I think you enjoy it, so we'd love to have you. Now, in this interview, Mickey describes himself. He kind of stumbles upon a definition of himself that I wanted to share. That's
I guess you could call me like a
stylish geek slash urban conundrum.
And conundrum. I don't know.
He shares his experiences being on the XXL freshman class cover, and he has some stories about how all these artists are coming together to be on that cover, and all the interactions and conversations that happens when you bring all those artists together in one spot. Even being in the same room as guys like Kid Cudi and Wale at the time, where he had some kind of old beef, a little bit of tension and friction. We talk about how he did songs with Drake and Kid Cudi before they even blew up and became such big artists as they are today. One of the things I think I value most from him in our conversation was him describing how he conceptualizes his albums, and even speaks from the perspective of a character, as if he's an actor in a movie and not just a rapper making music. It was very exciting for me and TJ to have him on the podcast because we are already such big fans. And the fact that he's the biggest name that we've been able to interview so far, but then at the same time, it's just all of us chatting on Skype and just asking questions and wanting to know more about his music and the mentality he has when he writes and makes his own music. That's going to do it for me talking so much in the intro. We're going to get right into the interview, but I'm just going to say, if you guys end up enjoying this video, leave a like and share it with somebody, and just give us some feedback in the comments. We always appreciate the valuable feedback you guys give us when it has to do with either interviewing or editing or just other artists that you want us to interview. Also, let us know if you guys get all the way at the end and get to the end of the video, because we always appreciate the true fans who stick it out and listen to the entire interview. We appreciate you guys. And without further ado, let's get into the interview. That rhymed. What's going on, you guys? My name is Cole.
I'm TJ.
And welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we have another really awesome episode for you guys. We are joined here today with Mickey Factz. He's a rapper from New York, producer, songwriter, really talented artist. Been doing it for over a decade. We're really big fans, so we're really honored to have you be here, Mickey Factz. Welcome.
Yo, Smicky.
Yeah. All right. So the first thing I wanted to get into was your latest album, was The Achievement. It's got a lot of references in it, like to Street Fighter and Austin Powers and like Contra. And I was wondering, like, what other types of influences and stuff go into your music while you write?
Well, for me, I like to incorporate things that influenced and inspired me via, pop culture, art, commerce, everyday life, comics, video games, fashion. I try to include everything. That's what my life is about. That's what I'm into. It just so happens that, a lot of times, I guess you could call me like a stylish geek slash urban conundrum. I don't know.
An anomaly.
I just kind of got. Yeah, I'm like an anomaly. I've gotten into so many different things in life, from video games to, knowing guys that's in the streets to, movies to fashion to comics. Like, I don't know. I just incorporate and encompass everything. I'm like a myriad of so much.
Yeah, I see you as like a multifaceted artist because, you write, you produce, you you can do spoken word, you can do poetry. So what made you want to kind of dive into all these different brackets of hip hop?
I mean, I remember, and I'm pretty sure you can remember the first time like you played a Nintendo game. It was just like, what? Like, what is this? This is incredible, you know? Or the first time like you got a comic book and it was just like, what? Wait, what is this? This is cool. Or the first time you may have seen like somebody beat somebody up. And it was just like, oh, this is kind of cool. So like, it's just kind of like, I just kind of put all of it together. I don't go too deep with it. I just give enough to let people know that I am knowledgeable in a lot of things. And, you know, it's a piece of me. And when you create this patchwork of a person, you see all of the different facets and parts that create this big cloth of a man. And that's what I feel like I am, you know. So I'm able to, and this is in reference to just my resume in terms of who the artists I've worked with and the crowds I've played in front of. I've played in front of rock crowds. I've played in front of rap crowds. I've played in front of electronic crowds. I've played in front of R&B crowds. Like, I just kind of make music that, you know, makes me feel good. And sometimes it just goes into all different types of genres of music and genres of life, you know. Just kind of happens that way.
Yeah.
And even listening to like Mickey Mouse, like Hulk Hogan and Crack, is like a very rockish kind of beat. And that's one thing I've noticed from you is that you have a very widespread, diverse discography that includes like different, like you just said, different genres. And it's like, did you, when you came and started doing hip hop, did you start doing that from the beginning, or did you like think about it later on? You just did a lot of hip hop beats, and then you're like, oh, let me just try some guitar, let me just try some like rock samples, or what made you like want to spread out to other genres?
Interesting for me, as Mickey Factz, as the entity of Mickey Factz, the very first project I did was In Search of the NERD,
Mm-hmm.
which was basically rock.
Yeah.
It was just like soft rock / hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not soft rock, pardon me, alternative / hip hop. And then the next project I did was Flashback, which was all old school beats. So, you know, I went from alternative rock to old school hip hop, which is like a crazy jump. And then I did Heaven's Fallout, and Heaven's Fallout was electronic, it was dance, it was rock, it was techno, it was hip hop, it was everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just like I sampled Bjork like on that album. Like, I sampled Daft Punk, I sampled Bjork, I sampled telepop music, I sampled a lot, man. And for me, Royce Cop, like, who raps over Royce Cop? Like, I mean, I just kind of, I felt whatever sounded good to my ear, I would be able to weave in and out of it with my lyricism. So for me, you know, I just kind of would find stuff and hope that I would be able to sound great over it, you know?
Did you ever find yourself like getting stuck while writing or trying to like develop a flow in these different genres?
I would get stuck, you know. Is it Cole?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I would get stuck sometimes writing Mickey Mouse, man, like just kind of trying to write as another person, but as a hip hop artist. It's one thing to be a writer for a movie and you know this character and you're creating this world for this character, but as an artist, as a rapper, it's like Mickey Mouse is not a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
He's a painter, and you know, I have to create this world for him and create different flows and different things that, and sometimes it was difficult to do because there's a lot of research that went into it from an art perspective and also just from a cultural standpoint. From the 1980 to 1988, I made sure that I stuck within that realm. I only went out of that realm one time, and I beat myself up for it all the time because I wanted it to be a time frame project. I had a Mean Girls reference, and it was like, you know. So I mean, I'm working on Mickey Mouse 2 now, So I'm trying to make sure that it's from 1988 to 1996. So I'm gonna be even more meticulous about what I say, the flows that I do choose, and the references that I do make.
Mm-hmm. And then is there a reason why? Because I know one thing I like about you, and despite like I know there's a lot of critics when it comes to like, and even myself when it comes to battle rappers not being able, or ex battle rappers, or if you battle rap, not being able to make music, and that was like a big thing. And it's you. I guess if you say like it's true, it's not true, but you are like probably my favorite artist that I know who was in battle rap, and especially with like Mickey Mouse and Love Lust, like, and 740, like they're just very storytelling projects, and I love that from a project because it just gives it such a meaning instead of just adding song after song that just in whatever order. Is there a reason why you wanted to do like a complete storytelling kind of albums like that?
Man, it just happens, bro. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna just be honest with you. It just kind of happens.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you, you know, wholeheartedly for being one of those people that just kind of appreciate the storytelling aspect of what I do. That means the world to me, because sometimes I feel like it's in vain. Like I sometimes feel like people don't want to hear these things from me, or they don't want to, you know, dig deep, you know, stylistically. I mean, I'm working on some, you know, if you guys thought Mickey Mouse was crazy, I mean, I'm working on some other things that I just want to do crazy stuff, man. Like I just want to I feel like the storytelling aspect of hip hop is just completely gone.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it's crazy how like Kendrick's Good Kid, Mad City, it was an amazing album, but people were saying, oh, look, like it had a story. Like people don't do that anymore. And it's like, if you search, you can find how many albums actually have it, but it's crazy that is now like a minority. Like albums that have a good story behind it is like a minority when it comes to the albums that are getting put out nowadays. And it kind of is sad.
I don't know why it's like that. You know, I thought Good Kid, Mad City was incredible. He was telling a story about himself and his life coming up in Compton. And, you know, I tried to do the same thing with what I was going through with 740 Park Avenue, Love, Lust, Lost, that series of just being heartbroken, and Mickey Mouse. You know, these are things that people look forward to, and their sequels. And it weighs heavy on the artist's shoulders to compensate the appetites of the consumer who wants to be involved with, you know, digesting this kind of content. And you know, I've been talking to Lupe a lot about, you know, what's next for what I want to do, because now that the achievement is done, everybody go and get the achievement. It's out right now. Knott's produced the whole thing, by the way. It's like, where do I go next? What do I do next that's gonna transcend what everybody else is doing? And I got some mind-blowing stuff in terms of just creativity, you know, that I want to showcase to the world. But it just sometimes feels like, you know, will the people really appreciate this? Like I mean obviously this is okay. So I mean, you guys are supporters. So this right here will be off the record.
Okay.
So that's the mindset that I'm, you know, it's still a work in progress, and it's something that I really want to execute, because, you know, at this point, hip hop is just so. There are good pockets of hip hop, but there's nobody really like trying to push the boundaries.
Yeah.
I just want to create something that'll make somebody go, what?
Yeah.
How did he do that?
Are you putting out Mouse 2 first? I know Mouse 2 was supposed to come out like a year or so ago, something like that. Christmas.
Yeah. I announced Mouse 2 in 2014, and it's 2017. I want to get it out in December. The story, I already have the storyline for it. I already have the concept art for it. I have everything for it. I just have to record it. And I was working on a project with Key Wayne, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. So I'm probably gonna start working on Mouse now to get it out for December, because it's extensive. It's one of those things where it's like I have to just devote. I have to character. I have to what is it called? I have to do method acting for Mouse. So I have to do a lot of different things in order to become this character. and actually feel and experience the things that he experiences in from 1988 to 1996. So it's a timepiece. So wish me luck.
So you've told your own story in albums, and you've told someone else's story, like a character, developing a character. Can you tell us a little bit that you've found to be different and found to be the same, writing a story for yourself and writing one for a character you're developing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So writing a story, so basically Mickey Mouse is about the life of Keith Haring, essentially. It's Keith Haring's biography. Like, if we want to be honest here, that's what it is. It's Keith Haring's biography. And it was easier to do that because I was actually reading up on Keith Haring and all of the things that he did, and it was just a lot of fact checking. So I did a lot of fact checking for that project. When it comes to writing my own stuff, like, I do everything off of memory. So it might be embellished a little bit, but for the most part, I try to make sure to be as truthful as possible and, facilitate my life to song in the best possible way that I can. But for the most part, when it comes to like doing biographies and time pieces, I try to do an extensive amount of fact checking so I don't look crazy out here to my fans,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. And is that who that is on the back of the cover? Because I was looking at the cover and like with you, and I don't know who it was on the back of it on Mickey Mouse.
That was Mick Jagger.
Okay.
I was going to say Mick Jagger.
Yeah, he said that too, and I'm like, I don't know what he looks like, so I'm not sure.
I was like, Mick Jagger or someone in that era.
That photo Warhol and Jagger talking, I just photoshopped Andy Warhol out of it and placed myself there. So it looks like a real photo. People
It
really
looks like a real photo, yeah. Especially with like the black and white, like there's no color in it, so it's like it literally looks like a real photo.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
So what were you talking about? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna bring up the XXL freshman list from like 2009, and
okay.
I know, and it's funny because that was the first XXL magazine I ever had. Like, what was that like, and was it like a big deal for you back then? Because I know now with everybody kind of trashes the freshman list because of their opinions on the people who make the freshman list nowadays. But back then, when it's you and like Kid Cudi and people like that, how
Wale and
Wale, yeah, how was it
Guns.
being on that freshman list?
So the freshman list. Conversation about that. Man, I remember when I got that phone call. Man,
Mm-hmm.
I got that phone call on my birthday, on 2009, July 13th. And Rob Markman called me before. I was the second person, I think, to know, or maybe the first person to know. And I was actually the second person chosen to be on the list. That just kind of speaks volumes of where I was musically at that time. I mean, I feel, man. Well, I had beef with Wale at that time. Shout out to Wale, you my man. I love you, bro. But me and Wale, we had beef at that time, and me and Cudi were kind of like not speaking at the time. So my experience of the freshman cover wasn't as good as everybody else's. Everybody else had a fucking great time. I interacted with everybody but Wale and Cudi, and it just so happens that Wale and Cudi that they decided to be friendly with overly friendly with everybody. But every person on that, exception to Ace Hood, shout to Ace Hood, I kind of loved interacting with. Ace Hood, he was there, but he kind of felt like he didn't need to be there. I thought that Ace Hood deserved to be there, but I also understood why it felt like he didn't deserve to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else that was on that cover, the other 9 artists, were heavily on the internet. Ace Hood was more of the street person that was on that cover. Jay Electronica was actually the 10th person that was supposed to be on that cover.
Oh, really?
And yeah, that would have caused a complete frenzy with Jay Electronica on the cover with the rest of us. And I mean, me, Wale, and Cudi didn't get along, but I got along with everybody else, and we all had a great time, man. It was monumental for me. I was a guy who collected so many different Source magazines and Double XL magazines, so to be on the cover of one was like it was emotional,
Yeah.
because it was like, wow, all this hard work is finally coming to fruition. And then, as the years go by, the dilution of the cover kind of, happens. But it was the second one, but that second one was really monumental. And it's one of the best selling covers that Double XL has ever done. Ever.
Wow. Yeah, and I mean,
Everybody
even with just the
bought
names
that
too.
magazine.
Even with the names, like that's crazy.
I think a lot of people just connected with the guys that was on that magazine as well.
And Blue is on there as well, right? Shout out Blue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing his shirt, and I forgot he was on the list.
Yeah. Blue. It was me, Blue, Corey Guns, Cudi, Currency, Ace Hood, Wale, Charles Hamilton, B.O.B., and Asher Roth. Like, it's just a fucking incredible cover, man.
What type of conversations do you guys have with all those artists together?
Man, at that time, it was brand new, and we were each other with the exception of Wale and Cudi. But everybody was basically wanting to do music with each other. Everybody wanted to work with everybody. Everybody wanted to tour with everybody. Double XL is acknowledging the youth, and I think that's what really hit hard, as opposed to them constantly putting, at that time they were putting like 50 Cent, Eminem, Jay-Z on the cover like it was like a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when they had these new guys on the cover, it was like, yo, who are these guys? And they look cool, and they look like me.
Yeah.
They dress like me.
Yeah.
And it just spiraled into like this big thing.
Is that how you and Blue kind of got started? Because speaking of like the achievement before, you have Masterpiece on there with him too, and you've done a few songs together. But is that where you guys did you guys know each other before? Or is that where you met? How'd that kind of start?
If I'm not mistaken, no, I met Blue for the first time at the BK Hip Hop Festival, and we were on the same bill. And if I'm not mistaken, I made him perform before me because he was from LA, and I wanted to shine.
New York,
and that was. Then right after that, I downloaded. I'm not downloaded. I bought Below the Heavens and became a Blue fan.
Yeah.
I became a Blue fanatic, and I apologized to him, and we became great friends, but we never got a chance to do any music together. It took us 7 years to do something, and I'm beyond grateful that we were able to do something for my debut album. It meant the world to me. It was like a bucket list thing.
And speaking of the achievement, why did you choose to decide to have Knots produce every song?
I saw that Knots was doing projects with so many different people, and I kind of wanted to be on that list. So I decided to reach out to him, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I love what you do. So let's do something." And out of all of those people that were on that list, I was the one to actually make it happen, and we made it work, and it was a beautiful situation,
Mm-hmm. And it sounds very organic, and it sounds very like those beats were made for you to rap on. And then if we're gonna go back to you being around that time, like XXL, how was actually I just realized you did a song with Drake and Travis McCoy and Cudi, I believe. How was it back then, and seeing where Travis McCoy, I don't really know what he does now, but with Kid Cudi and Drake becoming pretty big, how is it looking and reflecting on doing something like that?
It's interesting how life works.
Mm-hmm.
When I did those records with those two guys, I was successfully ahead of both of them.
Mm-hmm.
When I did that record with Cudi, he was jealous of me being in the Fader magazine. And he was like, "Man, I need to get to where you are, Mickey." And this is before he was really with Plain Pat, and we did the song "Do My Do." And I was like, "I want you to rap, bro. I want you to rap on this song with me." And he was like, "Okay, I'll do it." He didn't want to, but I was like, "You got to rap." And I was one of those guys that actually, got a really, really, really good Cudi verse, rapping and singing.
Yeah.
And we made a great record. I love Cudi,
Mm-hmm.
The Drake situation, you know, I was ahead of him successfully. He was just trying to, you know, be noticed. And, you know, he reached out to me and we spoke a lot, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I was just glad to be one of those guys to help him get to that next level, you know what I'm saying? I would love some reciprocation. That would be incredible if he was to be like, you know what, what you did for me here is this for you, bro. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I would love that to death. But I haven't ran into him. If I ever run into him, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to force him to do a song with me and see what comes out of that. But, you know, I thought both songs were great. I was fans of both of them at those times. Mm-hmm. And I'm still fans of both of them now, you know?
Oh, and knowing him back then, Drake, I'm talking about, how, and we've actually asked this question to a couple artists before, but how is it now for you, or did it change at all when you, with this whole ghostwriting thing? Like, does it change anything about him for you, or any, like, kind of music he makes, or what do you think about that?
I mean, you know, for me, he's successful. And, I mean, the integrity of hip-hop is always going to be something that is questioned for every artist that comes out and just constantly creates great content. But I don't really care about that, man. I think he's showcased enough to let people know that he doesn't need a ghostwriter. Mm-hmm. Collaborations, yes, I can understand that, but an actual person writing everything for him, no, I don't believe that.
Yeah, cool.
So, as an artist yourself, who like we listened to like the Achievement, which came out like your most recent tape, and like the beats on it are like just like it makes me think of essence of hip hop, you know. And as a musician, do you ever feel like how do I say, like that, because like that essence of hip hop has now become like a niche. It's become like it's become less people, you know what I mean, like the boom bap and stuff, and besides like the club bangers and the stuff that's getting people popular, do you ever feel like that lack of compensating has like not been successful, or do you feel like your fans have just like stuck with you through this essence of hip hop sound?
My fans have just stuck with me. I think the words mean more to them than the actual song of a project. I think it's a marriage. I think every song is instrumentation and lyric. And I think my fans come to me for the lyric as opposed to the instrumentation. Mm-hmm. And if I have great instrumentation, it's a more of a plus. Mm-hmm. But you know, for me, I think I just carved out a specific lane that people just love me for. And as much as I would love to have at least one hit record, if it doesn't happen, I'm actually very happy with where I am. Maybe a little bit higher, but I'm happy with where I am and who I, connect with and who really appreciates what I do. So it's okay.
Well, it says a lot about what fans you have. Like, everyone's so wrapped up about how many fans you have when you don't go and take a look at the fan and really dive into why they like your music.
Yeah.
So like the people who have like the most fans versus someone like you who the fans, like, usually their quality is they care about the lyrics, they listen to the beat, but they care deeply about storytelling, you know what I mean? So I think that's another way of shifting the way you think about success.
Yeah, it's like they're more what's the word? They're more like not connected, but like
like intuitive.
Like it's like I can see what you're saying. It's interesting, but I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, they're more in tune to what I'm saying as opposed to just the vibe. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can make vibe music. I can make music that people can feel on a vibe level, but I don't, like, a piece of me doesn't feel like my mission statement will go across the way I intended it to if I do just that. So I try my best to just spread it all the way out, and everybody could kind of get something from a Mickey Factz record.
Yeah.
When do you think if you did that, it would be one of those things where you're like kind of day one fans would be like, I wonder if he's just doing that because that's what's popular, or if he is doing that for that reason? If you do leave out substance that you've brought every time you've dropped something before.
I mean, when I put out, that's a good question. When I put out 740 Park Avenue, people were kind of mad about I don't care.
Oh.
And it was like, people were like, man, this is a perfect project with the exception of I Don't Care. Why did you put that on there? And it was just like, man, I just wanted to show that I could do it.
Yeah.
And then I got crucified for it from my fans. They were like, man, this is like a great project, but why is that on there? It's like, shit, man. I want to give at least people something that could feel like my music is not quote unquote boring or doesn't give them any type of energy.
Yeah.
I do know, and then the people that do hear it, they love it, you know, especially when I perform it. So it's an interesting conundrum.
And where did you get the idea for that project about the doorman in one of the richest hotels in America? Like, because that's a very interesting, and like, if I was to hear someone tell me like, oh, I think I'm gonna do a project about the doorman who helps people with their bag, like I would be like, how do you get a lot of substance to make an album for that? And you did it, and what did that come from?
I watched the documentary on Park Avenue on Netflix, man. That's literally where it came from. I was watching it, and I was like, yo, like, all of these people live in certain buildings, man. They live in different apartments in these buildings, and they have these massive rooms, and the doorman is like a regular person working there, not making any money. Like, this shit is ridiculous. And I tried to compare the building to the hip-hop game, and I was the doorman. Initially, I wanted it to be different apartments. Each song would be a different apartment, but I felt like it wasn't sounding right. So I just kind of, you know, I tried to make it as relatable as possible, with the doorman being someone that you don't know who it is until the end. And then, you know, it turns into me, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you talk about, like, anyone can create a vibe. Like, you can create a vibe. You can write something that has, like, that vibe, that energy. That's what people get famous on. But like, not everybody can write something that has concept behind it. So
yeah. And also, I was asked too, when it comes to like new generation artists that, and I know people always talk about rappers who've been rapping for a while aren't like in tuned or they don't have this, but I mean, even when it comes to somebody like Sylvan LaQ / Quest, who dropped like one of my favorite projects in a really long time with Searching Sylvan. I was super surprised that you were on there, by the way, with the spoken word you did. But like how did that kind of happen? Because he's from Florida, I believe. Like, how did that kind of interaction start between you two?
Sylvan was brought to me in 2011. We did a song together in 2011 called Nothing to Lose. And we did Mickey Mouse. I did Mickey Mouse. And he reached out to me and was like, yo, man, Mickey Mouse is incredible. I remember sending it to him, and he was just like, this is like unlike anything I've ever heard in my entire life. And I remember him working on Searching Sylvan. And he was like, yo, man, I project, you know, like what Common did for Cudi. We kind of made it happen. And I remember when he first sent me that project, I thought it was incredible. You know, I thought I gave it a 9.3 or something. You know, I thought that was a really, really good project. The only thing, there was a song on there I thought didn't need to be on there. But aside from that, I thought it was an incredible project. And he's an incredible artist. He's beginning to gain some traction. So I'm very proud of him, you know. He's one of those guys that I looked out for when he was first coming up, you know. Yeah.
And then I don't know if you heard Far From Familiar, but he put out that as Sylvan LaQ, obviously. And the last song he put out was At What Cost, where he mentions you. And I don't know if you heard that or not, but is it like, and then I saw you like retweet him not that long ago either. Are you guys like on a cool basis now? Or I don't know, you don't gotta say what happened, but it was just, as me being a fan listening to him, I was like, I wonder what that is, because I remember you being on his project, then he dropped that song and I was like, whoa, I wonder like if they're like still cool with each other. It was just a very weird thing, because he did put it in a song for like people to hear, and I was like, obviously it could be one of those things where, oh, it's personal, but it's like, I wonder why he would mention it in a song, because I mean, it was a very honest song in the first place. But
those guys who I let in, you know, and I let into my world. I don't let a lot of people into my world, and I love him. I love him as a brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my brother. I put out a project called Y3 that Sylvan was supposed to be on, and like, I needed him. I really wanted him on the project. I wanted that song to be about our relationship, in terms of mentor and mentee, and just kind of, directing him in the game. And for whatever reason, he couldn't get it done, and it was taking him forever. And when I say forever, I mean forever. And whenever he needed something from me, I was always there. Like, he didn't have to wait. And I took offense to that, and I might have jumped the gun on that, but that's because I really looked at him like a little brother about that situation, and I told him that I did, and I think he heard it. Obviously, he heard it, and then he did that little response in like 2 or 3 lines, maybe four lines, and I had to take it on the chin. You know what I'm saying? It was like, he said, I said how I felt, and he said how he felt. You know what I mean? And ever since, we had a long conversation, and I apologized to him, and he apologized to me, and I love him. I love him as like a literal little brother. And we performed together not too long ago in Tampa. So, that's pretty much the story.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to ask you about too, which is 2 of my favorite projects from you, is Love Less Lost, 1 and 2. And 1, I really enjoy I think Malfunctioning and Malfunction and Malfunctioning are 2 of my favorite songs from those projects from you. But can you explain Malfunctioning a little bit? Because I still have trouble trying to like decode what it is with all the 2 dreams in one night kind of thing.
Okay, Malfunctioning was supposed to be like the last scene in Inception, where it was multiple dreams within dreams within dreams.
Yeah.
And so it starts out, if I'm not mistaken, I forgot how it starts out, man. I think me and the person were like dating or something like that, and then I wake up.
You're on a train.
I wake up in another dream on a train on my way to meet her for a date, and then we're having sex, and then I wake up from that dream on an airplane.
Yeah.
And then that was also a dream.
You being on the plane.
I was dreaming on the plane. And the end of that song, and that's why after that project, I stopped putting dates on projects, because after that, I was supposed to wake up again and be actually in the airport.
Oh, okay.
So I was supposed to be in the airport with her, and we were gonna do a skit where I wake up and she's like, "Mickey, wake up! We're trying to go to Hawaii." You know what I'm saying? So like that's what was supposed to happen. But we were rushing, so I didn't get a chance to do that skit. So I'm glad you actually asked that. But that's what was supposed to happen. Apologies.
And is Love Less Lost based on an ex or a real life person? And okay.
Yeah, both projects was based on an ex.
Okay. And that stuff I actually like really enjoy, because it's like that's how you know that the content on that project is coming from the art and coming from real like storytelling that has happened from your own life. And then this is for me, actually, this could be off the record, on the record. I'm just actually very curious, going back to the battle rap situation. A couple years ago, I saw Newborn versus Super Rider, and you were there, and that was like one of like my favorite battles I have ever watched, and I've watched quite a few. I just want to know, like, who do you think kind of took it?
I gave Born the second round, and I gave Super Rider the 3rd round because Born choked 3 times, 2 times, and Super Rider choked 1 time. And I don't remember what happened in that first round, but for a while I think I gave that battle to Super Rider, but I think Born may have won it overall.
And when did you get into like battle rap and like the URL scene and stuff like that?
I've been fan URLs. It's the first. But I've been going to Smack Battle since Move Battle with Jay Mills.
Wow.
And I was always a fan of it, and I wasn't afraid to go. I think a lot of artists were afraid to just be a part of that, and I wasn't one of those guys. I loved going, and I loved supporting. And you know, it's one of those things where like I came from that. You know, I came from battling. You know, and I just enjoy it. It's the highest form of lyricism. You know.
Yeah, definitely. And do you plan on ever like going back and doing anything else, or is that kind of done for right now?
I mean, I don't know. You know, anything is possible. I'm a mood guy, so depending on my mood, I might do it. But right now, like, I think and Mickey Mouse 2, and you know, it's just so much going on. I don't know if I'll be able to commit to just random battle bars. You know.
Cool. Yeah, that was really cool. A really cool conversation.
No doubt, Ken.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate you, man, for taking your time and just coming and hanging out and chilling with us.
Yeah, definitely.
And you guys at home, go find the achievement and buy it. Purchase the music. Yeah. Or go stream.
Purchase it.
Go stream every song like 40 times. Yeah.
Stream it up. Let it play throughout the day.
Yeah, just play it and then go like do your laundry or something. Let it replay.
Right. I'm fine with that as well. But yeah, man, thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm humbled to be a part of this conversation with two guys who really just, you know, appreciate the culture. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to my fan base when they hear this interview, because a lot of things I've said here I've never said anywhere else. So I'm hoping that, you know, a lot of people will tune in and check you guys out from here on forth, you know.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you. And if you guys enjoyed at home, please leave a like and subscribe. Once again, my name is Cole.
I'm TJ.
And
Smicky!
Thanks for watching. Yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Peace.